Well, would you look at this, another anime that's super boring to watch. I bet nothing interesting happens during this entire show. Oh, well, that was just one-off thing. Surely this doesn't happen often.
Right.
Well, she doesn't have too big of knockers. I bet they don't have MILFs in the series. Oh, what the fuck? Before we start, let me preface what echi actually is, so we can be on the same page here. Echi is a slang term in Japanese language. Boring! So echi is one of the biggest genres for anime in general. You have the classics like High School DxD, High School of the Dead, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. What do all of these have in common? Having the ability to bring in the world's most obnoxious virgins in our solar system. You thought shonen turds were bad? Wait till you find out what echi tars are. Most of the time, they believe an anime is only good when there are titties flashing on the screen the entire runtime of the show. This can happen to anyone. They can turn from a shonen lover who very much loves One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, into a D-gen who just watches anything with a bit of nipples in it. Echi can come in many different forms. It can be a small case where it's just some premarital hand-holding, but can really ramp up all the way to full-blown grape scenes in the middle of a fucking episode. You know it's bad when you can't watch an anime anywhere else but inside your room with a door locked, with tissues and some lotion on your desk. Listen closely to what I'm about to say. I do not disagree, it is a fun time to watch a bunch of 2D drawings bouncing around in menacing ways, but it isn't something I would put in front of a new viewer. Imagine a little kid named Timmy coming back from middle school and discovers a whole new form of media, otherwise known as anime. He starts to watch all the must-watch animes like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Death Note, Naruto, but one day he is scrolling through Crunchyroll and sees something that catches his eye. It's a red-haired girl with some special personality traits. Then, little old Timmy turns into a Genshin Impact fan, and that's something I would never wish onto, even on my worst enemy. Why I don't like echi as much as I used to.
No, don't pull, no! Ah!
Echi was kind of like the first taste of adulthood I had back when I first started watching anime. I was a kid just experiencing new things for the first time, and it really gave me a sense of empowerment because I felt like I wasn't supposed to watch this type of stuff. I felt in control of something that I never really had, but it was just pixels on a screen, so now looking back, I was a total moron. Watching it now can sometimes give me a good laugh or somewhat be an enjoyable time, but it isn't the same as it used to be. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels like this, but I want an actual good plot with amazing characters who grow on me. Take for example One Piece. These characters at first who don't seem interesting, but the more you watch them and interact in the world, the more love you have to see them grow to become part of the main story. Echi just feels off nowadays. The studios know the target audience very well, so they try extra hard to push to the most basic and used tropes known to mankind. They do this because they know it works. It worked before, so why wouldn't it work again? I mean, they're not wrong, but if you've been around the anime scene for a while now, you'll know how to tell the difference between an actual good anime to a bad one. You'll be able to tell which anime uses echi to move forward the plot and which only uses it to get more sexual for no reason. I also feel like because I'm older now, I don't really care for the genre as I used to. If I wanted to see big anime titties, then I would go to N-hentai and enjoy some quality shit without the nuclear-powered shit stain they call anime. Echi has fallen off pretty hard, at least where it came from. How are you gonna tell me new gen echi is as good as old? High School DxD was peak echi. The action, the story, the heartbreaking fights, and the tits and ass. It's insane how anyone would pass up such a great anime. The comedy aspect of it made it worth watching.
I wish that bicycle seat was my face.
Nope.
It wasn't too carried by echi content, so it was bearable. Echi nowadays is all about building around the titties, not the other way around. What made High School DxD so good was the actual plot. It had a cool power system and it was genuinely funny. The tatas just made it extra better. The downfall of echi, to be honest, is pretty recent. There are some good ones that came out recently, like Dress Up Darling, but I don't think that counts as echi. It definitely has echi moments, but the actual centerpiece is well-rounded story. So there are many anime that can fully pull off echi, some being being One Piece, you got Naruto, there's also Bleach, and then shit, even Dragon Ball can do it. Let's just not get into the original Dragon Ball. That ecchi was a bit off-putting, even for me. Ecchi doesn't really have to be full-blown uncensored either. We are talking about anything that is sexualized content. Soul Eater is another good example of pretty well done scenes. Let's talk about how ecchi can be pulled off without ruining the actual experience of the anime. We have a word called fan service, and usually it's a bad term. Well, what is fan service in the first place? The inclusion in a work of fiction of material, especially of a racy or sexual nature, which may or may not have relevance to the storyline, and is designed merely to excite the viewer. One Piece has moments for sure where there is ecchi, but this can span from one episode to every 100 episodes, since the main focus isn't titties, even though One Piece has the most amount of ecchi looking characters in any anime. But let's get into the reasons why these shows pull off ecchi in a not so weird and unentertaining way. So first off, most of the time these shows tend not to show ecchi off just because they can. They use it for some plot reasons that can help further develop the story or characters in some type of way. For example, we see in this clip Nami is in a mixed bathhouse and getting raided by some enemies. So she puts her hands up, accidentally using her special technique, the happiness punch. This shows Sanji was hiding with his raid suit watching from the distance. This clip alone pushes forward the idea that Sanji was finally able to get his dream devil fruit without actually having it. Or we can look at Bleach's ecchi. See how this improved the story? Yeah, big improvements right here. This takes the story and development to a brand new level. I've never even knew this existed. Ecchi as a whole is a weird thing. It's weird enough that I'm making a video around this topic, let alone people actually spending their free time daily watching or reading ecchi content. It's not that it's uncommon, it's more that it's something only a weeb would watch. I hate that word weeb, and yes, I know it's in my name, but I use it in a sarcastic way. Weematic is basically saying I'm aware of this stupid name, but I like to be an idiot, so here I am. But if we want to make ecchi great again, we can do two key topics I think are important. Topic 1, use ecchi when it fits. The main thing I hate about ecchi is when they just push ecchi for no reason at all. This can cause a separation between the show and the progression of a plot. So ecchi, in my opinion, should be used lightly and not very often. The more you put it in the show, the less appealing it is to the audience. It's basically you liking something more because you don't get it often, or rather at all. On the other hand, if you get it all the time, then it's just another ecchi scene that you already have seen before. With great ecchi comes great responsibility. The studios who mass produce ecchi content have great power that they do not realize they have. By making the new waifu, how the fuck are you gonna make a perfect 10 out of 10 waifu and not have ecchi moments showcasing their assets? This has to be one of the 7 deadly sins. There's no greater sin than not being able to sexualize a waifu made to be sexualized. Now, hear me out. I know Reddit and Twitter users are gonna flock to this occasion and do what they do the best, and that is to make Rule 34 content for free. Like, they always say if it exists, then it will be on Rule 34. I don't know how it is, but it actually is like that. We had the massive explosion of interest of My Dress Up Darling a while ago, and they pulled it off quite well actually. Scenes were adapted amazingly, and it made new people get interested into reading the manga and finishing it. You know, ecchi is fun, but it's not really needed. A good and well-written ecchi scene is like a 5-star course meal prepared by Gordon Ramsay himself. It's like royal treatment to have such an exquisite scene of your favorite anime character being used like that. But if they use it wrong, and especially if it's an anime where you don't give a fuck, then it ruins the entire show for you. You see, ecchi can be good in some ways. It can snap my neck to the screen when it happens, like anytime Lucy appears on the screen. By the way, Lucy is better than Erza. I will die on that hill forever. But just because Lucy has the best sleeper build doesn't mean we need to see it every 10 seconds. But I mean, I wouldn't mind if that would happen, you know what I mean? Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Click this video on the screen to see why Stone Ocean is the best partner in JoJo.